For us, hot water was transformational infrastructure. It wasn't necessarily deciding how we were heating the hot water today,
Right.
because there would be options like biomass or solar hot water or what have you. Whatever technology came through in the future. But the element was having that base infrastructure place where you could have that low-grade heat available. So. And that came out of, we had done an alternative energy study back in 2008, and there were these sort of grand epics, options that were in there. But what was fascinating was all of them required a hot water loop as the base. And so that led us to say, well, can we make the business case for hot water work on its own? And then we'll figure out how to heat it later.
Mm-hmm.
You'd always need the natural gas boiler as a backup.
Right.
And so then can we make the economics of that project work? And we did.
As far as, kind of planning for the future, that's really part of our vision of going to the low temperature hot water and the district chilled water systems, is that we feel that that's going to give us more options as technologies change in the future to, for example, use heat pump technology, transfer energy from different sources to both our hot water and or chill water networks, or transfer energy between those networks. As, for example, let's say the cost of solar thermal improves in the future, or different storage technologies, will be well positioned to take advantage of those technologies.
Right.
Our hot water system that's 3/4 of a mile was on new square footage and new distribution piping, and it was actually $3 million cheaper than installing steam at the time in the early 2000s. MIT has dug in deeply to look at how we replace aging steam infrastructure with hot water. We've studied 17 different versions over the last 8 months.
Wow.
How to do this. We've had paybacks ranging from 20 years to 160 years. Replacing the steam pipe with the hot water distribution is almost a 1-for-1, maybe even a little bit cheaper. Mm-hmm. It's the conversion costs in the buildings that are driving up our costs.
I see.
Yeah, so for us, we have a lot of steam heating systems in our buildings. So when we look at the overall cost of our project, roughly 1/3 of that is actually converting our steam heating systems to hot water in our buildings. So that's a big piece of it. And the actual distribution is maybe 25%, and then the rest would be the plant.
We're adding the hot waters on a new campus, so we're not going after today the existing. That still might be for some of the reasons I think Ted mentioned. And it's in a good condition. So it's where we're building new. So we're putting new infrastructure in the ground. It seems to make sense to do that as low temp hot water, as well as it's in an area that we're trying to make very resilient to flooding. And I think I could do changes in direction much more easier with water than steam, and have a manhole flood, or so there's a much better bonus, but we're not replacing similar to what Abby or David had done.